Welcome to another modding tutorial. Today we're going to do an updated .dai mod installation tutorial for Dragon Age Inquisition. As a fair warning, this tutorial is going to go step by step into modding, so it's as beginner friendly as possible. I'll have timestamps in the description box if you want to jump from point to point in case you're more of an experienced modder. You'll need a few things before we get started. The first is some kind of compressed file opening program. You'll run into both .rar and .zip files while modding this game. I personally suggest using a 7-zip as it's a free and easy to use program. I'll link it in the description box. You'll also need to create a few new folders for mod storage and your mod manager. I'd personally suggest creating one big DAI modding folder, and inside of it creating a DAI mod manager folder, and then a DAI mods folder. The DAI mod manager will be used for the mod manager itself, and DAI mods for the mods that you'll be using. You can put this folder anywhere you'd like, but I'd suggest somewhere easy to access and not in your game folder. Now that that's done, you'll want to download and install DAI Mod Manager. In my previous tutorial, I mentioned downloading it from Nexus Mods and using the tool suite loader to get the Mod Manager up and running. However, a lot of people are getting an error occurred while getting project list message, which is why today we're going to skip all of that. I'm leaving a link in the description box for an original upload of the Mod Manager from tapatalk.com. If you look at the first post in the thread dated August 29th, 2015, you'll see a download location section, and it is the 6th section down. You'll want to use the Dropbox link for the direct link 64 bits download. When you get to that Dropbox link, click the download option at the top of the page. If you get a save it for later message, you can hit the X in the upper right hand corner to close out of it. And then for me, I had to hit the download option again. You should now either be downloading or have the option to download Mod Manager x64.zip. Once it's fully downloaded, open up the zip folder using the method of your choice, 7-zip or WinRAR, and drag and drop the contents into the DAI Mod Manager folder that you created at the start of this tutorial. Double-click modmanager.exe file, and it should now pop up the prompt to find the Dragon Age Inquisition.exe file, which is located in your Dragon Age Inquisition game folder. If you don't know where that is and you're on Steam, you can right-click the game, go to Manage, then browse local files, and it should pop up the game folder for you. To make it even easier, you can highlight the address bar at the top and hit Ctrl-C to copy it, and then highlight the address bar in the Mod Manager window and use Ctrl-V to paste it, and then hit Enter. It will then bring you to the game folder. You can select Dragon Age Inquisition.exe and then select Open. For Origin, EA's old gaming client, the best way is to go to the top of the program, hit Origin, and then Application Settings. From there, you'll have an option for installs and saves, which should give you the game library location. Navigate to that in the Mod Manager, and then select your game folder of choice, and the Dragon Age Inquisition.exe should be in there. If you're using the new EA Gaming Client EA app, look in the upper right corner of the game in the My Collection section. Click the 3 dots and then hit View Properties. It'll give you the install location. Alternatively, in the Installed Games section, you can select the game, then Manage, then View Properties to get the game location. You can then hit the Browse option, use Ctrl-C to copy the pathway link in the address bar, and then use Ctrl-V to paste it in the address bar in the Mod Manager window, and then hit Enter. Select Dragon Age Inquisition.exe and hit Open. After that, you'll need to find the mod path, which is the modding folder we created at the start of this tutorial, where all of your mods will live. Navigate over to the DAI mods folder you created and then hit OK once you've selected the folder. Close out of the Mod Manager and we'll move on. The mod manager itself is now set up. It's time to download a mod and install it and test it out. When downloading your first mod, I'd suggest picking one that is very easy to see if it's working correctly, such as a new armor, appearance mod, etc. If after downloading you get a zip or RAR file that needs to be opened as the .daimod file is inside of it, use your file opening method of choice to do so, like 7-zip or WinRAR. Once that's open, you'll want to drag and drop the mod file itself into your DAIMods folder. Once you have your mod in there, navigate back over to your DAImod Manager folder and open up the DAImod Manager application. You should now see your mod showing up in the Mod Manager. Select the merge option in the bottom right-hand corner and then wait for it to finish processing. It's worth noting that you might see some warnings or errors pop up in the window itself as it's merging. But as long as it says the merge finished, you should be good and don't need to worry. You can now close out of both the merge window and the Mod Manager. Now it's time to open up your game to see if your mod worked. You can launch your game as you normally would and don't need to touch the Mod Manager again unless installing or uninstalling more mods. To uninstall a mod, you can do two things. First is to simply select a mod from the Mod Manager and then hit disable in the bottom left-hand side, then hit merge. Or you can also delete the mod from your DAIMods folder and then hit merge in the Mod Manager. Either way will uninstall it from your game. I also have a few bits of advice/troubleshooting tips as a just in case. First, I would suggest creating yourself 2 additional folders that'll live in your DAI modding folder. Name one folder DAI empty mods in case you ever want to uninstall all of your mods at once for whatever reason. You can simply change your mod path to that empty folder instead of your usual DAI mods folder, and then back again when you want to add all your mods back in. Secondly, I would suggest giving yourself a DAIMods not in use folder. I personally use this folder to store all the mods I've downloaded that I am not currently using, in case I ever want to go back to them. This future-proofs your modding in a sense, as mods can be taken down, moved to a new website, or just become really hard to find. Any changes you make to your DAIMods folder, such as adding or deleting a mod, will require you to relaunch the Mod Manager to reflect the change. So if you're uninstalling or adding in new mods, it's best to do all of that with your mods folder and then go ahead and open up the Mod Manager. If you've installed any kind of hair mod or texture-based mod and it's only showing up in certain cases, you'll need to make sure that your meshes are set to Ultra in the game's graphics settings, as that usually fixes the issue. Load order is only important if you have 2 mods that are doing the same thing and want one to take priority over the other. In that case, select the mod, but don't uncheck it, and use the 2 arrows that are at the bottom of the Mod Manager to move them to your spot of choice. The general rule of thumb is that mods that are at the bottom of your load order are loaded into the game last, so they'll take priority, i.e. they will overwrite your other mods. I'd also highly suggest backing up your patch folder somewhere safe. That way, if you do decide to do both Frosty and DAI modding at the same time in the future, or just need a fresh patch folder for whatever reason, you're all set. It's located in the game folder that we found earlier inside of the update folder. And my last tip, if you run into a problem loading into the game where it says you're using the wrong patch number, that means more than likely a mod you installed was using a different patch number than what you have in your game. This happens more often with Frosty mods, but it can happen with .dai mods as well. To fix it, navigate to your patch folder, located in your game folder, updates, then patch, and open up the package.mft file using a text editing program, something like Notepad++. I'll leave a link for that in the description box. Then change your patch number to something higher than 12, save, and load into your game. If you load in and the problem is still there, you didn't pick a high enough number. Repeat these steps until you're back in. Please note, if you ever have to refresh your patch folder, you'll need to repeat this process, as your save files will now be dependent on a higher patch number. So it is worth making note of the number that you ended up using and getting into the game with. There you have it, my guide and tips on how to install .dai mods for DAI Mod Manager. Make sure you check out my other DAI modding guides if you're trying to use a different modding type such as Frosty, or Frosty and DAI mods together. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!